in a few weeks in Venezuela there will be the elections. Unfortunately, probably the results are already known. And why I'm saying that? Not because I have a crystal ball. Crystal balls, unfortunately, doesn't exist, or they exist only on the Lord of the Ring movies and books. No, I'm saying that because Nicolás Maduro has organized the election in a way that he will be sure to be re-elected. What he did, Maduro, is probably part of a script that he received from Fidel Castro, the old Cuban leader. The old Cuban leader was behind the new idea of the socialism of the 21st century. And he made a script, a guide in how to get to the power and how to perpetrate in the power, and especially how to give to the public opinion the impression of being democracy when, in fact, we talk about, in some case, of brutal authoritarian dictatorship, as it is the case of Venezuela. So part of the script helps the leader of the country, in this case Nicolás Maduro, to perpetuate in power. And how is that possible? Well, to disable the opponent that has most probabilities of success of running in the election, as Maduro did with Maria Corina Machado. Then Maria Corina Machado, that was a possible candidate that would have been able to be elected, her party named another Corina to run as a president. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to get admitted for the election. So in that way, Mr. Maduro had been able to, in my opinion, make sure that he will be re-elected by eliminating the competitors, by running just himself. And he did that by using the rule of law, the rule of Venezuelan law. Thanks to some judges that support Maduro, he achieved the inhabilitation of Maria Corina Machado. That was the only candidate, probably, that would have been able to win the elections. Now, there are other similarities throughout Latin America. What happened, for example, in Brazil? In Brazil, when Lula da Silva left power, he was investigated for a case that was called Lava Jato. It is a case of corruptions. And he was sentenced to corruptions. After a few years, a judge of the Supreme Court cancelled the sentence, so he was able to run again. In 2022 election, he won against Jair Bolsonaro. At the same time, there had been a court in Brazil that disabled Bolsonaro for, I believe, 8 years, which means that Bolsonaro wouldn't be able to run for election next time in 2026 and the following times. In short words, Bolsonaro wouldn't be able to return as a president for Brazil because we talk about maybe 12 or more years before he could run again, thanks to the inhabilitation. But why Jair Bolsonaro has been inhabilitated? Well, he gave a party with some ambassador and he said that he was worried that maybe there could have been some fraud on the electoral process or something like that. It just for holding a meeting with ambassadors of other country that actually was part of his mandate, no? If you are a president of a country, you should meet with the ambassadors. That's normal. For that reason, they found a way to inhabilitate him. I don't really know in detail how Brazilian judiciary system works, but in my opinion, it is a little bit bizarre and at the same time a little bit strange to see how Bolsonaro was ruled out, was taken out of the possibility to be elected. A little bit strange. And there are some similarities with Venezuela. Of course, Venezuela, when it moves, it's much more harsh. Everybody know around the world that when we talk about Venezuela, we are not talking about a democracy. At the opposite, the image of Lula da Silva, especially in Europe, is highly regarded, much more than his colleague in Venezuela. But the point here is Brazil really a democracy? Or in both cases, Venezuela and Brazil follow a script in order to get in the power, to hold power, and to remain in power. And all this script has been written many years ago by Fidel Castro. And that's, I believe, it's the harsh reality that we are living in some countries in Latin America. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. Let me know in your comments what you think about. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, turn on the ringing bell in order to see when I have a new video, and give me your like.